In the opening sequence of my experience, I came into an elevator and began descending to the ground floor, where I found my team made up of about four others and myself. I could see each one of us was necessary to the team and really complemented another. What one lacked, another one made up for, and what that one lacked, another one made up for, and so on and so forth. It reminded me of how an engine isn't just an engine, it's made up of multiple parts that allow the whole thing to function. This team I was with were in a small regrouping state before moving on. We had just finished an assignment and were momentarily resting, and we seemed rather dirty, all of us covered in dirt and clothes worn. And we also looked like G.I. Joe characters, like G.I. Jane and stuff like that, sort of military fatigues. Well, I looked around and decided to go get us something extra that would help from the astral or second level. So I get back in the elevator and went up a level and hopped out, being mindful of my environment as it was hostile territory, it seemed. And as I was making my way, an interdimensional flea about the size of a softball came and tried jumping on me and failed, but persistently tried different angles, and every time I fired at it with my little ray gun that I had, it would zip away and flash back until I nailed it, and it fizzled up and disappeared. What was interesting was this flea, every time it tried to jump at me, it used subtle suggestions to get my attention, ideas presented, and if agreed to them, it would have been able to attach itself to me. But using our conscious free will and awareness, we can recognize what's taking place and use the will to not act upon the suggestions or decide upon them. And what I want to say about that really quick is it was very much so a deciding position. You have to intently decide not to agree with these things that come up. You can't just think in your mind of, well, oh, I don't agree to that. It really is like having a piece of metal in front of you, or like some kind of something bendable, and you have to use your will to bend that. It really is a choice. You have to decide to not agree. And that's any moment. And so let's see. And now, being where this awareness is in the astral realm, I saw it modeled after my house. The main upstairs bedroom, and there was a pile of junk on the floor, old wires, watches, etc., all junk to be thrown out. But amidst the refuse was money. Not just money, but awareness, something of value. Anyway, I grabbed the petty cash, say about $30, and was going to pocket it when an individual walks in posing as the father, using his image to influence me into being guilty, embarrassed, hesitant, and not take the money. Not much different than the flea, but this individual posing as the father was a lady who carried a dark cloud with her and wore black and red. And black and red, of course, is connected to the lower astral realms, it's just the particular frequencies. In seeing all of this, I decided to pocket the money and split, not before telling her stop being bored. I had opened the window and I climbed in the windowsill and I'm sitting there. I look back at her because she's still kind of just standing there staring at me, and I tell her to stop being bored. And when I told her this, she became furious. She lunged forward at me saying, "I'm not bored, you little brat." And she was pointing her finger right at me. She jumped 15 feet from the door to my face and was saying that to me. And I remember I just kind of laughed and giggled, and I kind of hopped out of the window. And that was the end of the experience. It reminded me of like when you see kids skating in the street or they're climbing things, just kind of having fun, however they're having fun. And an old person or an adult comes by and starts yelling and shouting. They got their arm raised. So I just wanted to share that experience. And then I have a second one, a little thing.
Terrific, Jeremy. Yes, we're all kids having fun, and yeah, these old folks are bored. Yes, they are. Thank you.
Okay, and this next experience, actually, I wanted to start out in saying thank you to Duane, and thank you to everybody who has supported me directly or indirectly on my own personal steps and process here, because I say this because when I first started singing the NUUU, there was talk of flying in the dream visions, and that it's not so much that you just fly and then, okay, that's it, like you're this and that, or you go there and wherever. But it is a step. It's a step in the waking up process to sort of have the ability to go to these certain places and whatnot. And it really kind of is like a position of awareness, not being tied to the floor. It says something more so in like a subtle way. Well, anyways, in my beginning experiences of singing the NUUU, I never could fly. I remember I would always try. I would jump from I would jump from buildings. I would jump from trees. I would jump from the street. I mean, I was kind of all over the place, and I could never get more than a couple feet off the ground, or I'd fall right back on my bottom. Or I'd get up a little bit, and I would. What would always happen was, instead of flying straight up, I'd be like hovering above the ground, like a hoverboard. And so I remember that discouraged me a little bit, that I was like, well, why can't I just fly? It seems so simple. I couldn't see all the baggage that I carried that really was weighing me down like anchors. So I remember for a while I just let it go. I really didn't think about it too much. I just let it go. And that was a couple years ago. I just stopped thinking about flying. I didn't have that attachment to it, or try to chase it, or get it like a little token or accomplishment, because that's not really what this is about. And all of a sudden, the other night, I think about a week ago-ish, I had an experience where I really was able to fly. And it was really cool because, like I said, I never really experienced flying. I've been lifted up and assisted in flying, but I've never done it on my own. And that's what happened. I was zooming around. I was zipping around like a bird, like Superman. It was so cool. And it just is a reminder to me of kind of sort of like a step-by-step process, kind of seeing where I'm at, and that I'm finally able to do that for myself, without asking the boys or like whatever. And so anyways, yeah, just wanted to say thank you, because it's cool. It's a lot of fun being able to do that and seeing myself in that way, like Superman. So just sharing that.
Yes, thank you very much for showing up, Jeremy. I see, just like was said here, all the parts of an engine. And yes, as we all come together, just like a team, like a football team. In Eckankar, it used to be baseball. That was the idea. But it's become more teamwork, like a football team getting to the goal. That's the whole idea. And yes, we have resistance there. So everybody plays their part into supporting each other. This is what's very important, and to step up and do something real. And this is what is constantly presented to each individual, not just showing up at the Skypes or doing the NUUU, but actually having the intent to take part through all of creation to help the situation here out very realistically, and doing whatever's possible also in the physical, because this lifetime is just phenomena, is all it is. And when the individual can figure it out, just like the real guides, that's their whole purpose, their whole life, and being through all the bodies, etc. So it's very, very important. So yes, thank you, Jeremy, for being here and showing up, and everybody else. Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to give everybody a tip. TikTok. I'm sure everyone's heard of TikTok nowadays, whatever, there's like YouTube and Brightyawn and certain things. Well, I got back onto TikTok. I remember I got off of it because of certain little issues. And but I'm back on there. And anyways, I'm posting some videos there, and they're getting a lot of views. A lot of people are seeing them. They're really receptive to what it is. Now, whether they're really looking at it or just taking it in is their choice, but there's the real information there. So, they're getting it one way or the other, and they're sharing. I can see when they share it or save it or send it to somebody too, and they're doing that. And, they're getting, I remember when I first was posting videos, they were getting 700 plus views. And now they're getting, because what I'm doing is re-uploading like YouTube videos on there. And they're getting, upwards of like, we're creeping up on like 300-400. So it's very cool. So anybody who wants to share, that's a really kind of in platform right now. A lot of people are on there, especially kids.